Adios.
Adios. The medium's mind is a little obstinate today. busy, distracted, and also attracted, rather like a bird that seeks the bright colors that glisten glow on the day. But with a little effort and a little persistence, then the mind can easily be put to rest and move to one side. Once the pathway has been trodden, and you are used to making a connection, then you do not need a map. You set out on your journey and you just follow the worn path. The resistance is at the beginning in starting the journey, which is what we incurred today. For those less experienced, of course, there will be a need for a map, but only for a short while. Follow the path of connection that you have used before. It is easier and true. But keep your eyes and ears open. Times, of course, you realize that there is another way. And then you may decide to create another path, to find your way. Now, deep within each of you, there is the individual self and the universal self, which in essence are the same thing. But appear right at the very beginning to be two very different things. The individual self, or let's call it your higher self, rests within you. And the universal self is over there somewhere. You may or may not be aware of it at all. And it is these, initially the individual self, that whispers to you and gives you guidance. When you sit quietly enough, that little voice is heard, telling you what to do or where to go. And it can only be heard when the mind is sufficiently quiet and the connection is then made. But once you walk the path and create a well-trodden path, then your mind could still be a little busy and that voice can still be heard because the connection has followed the path and the link has been made. So to begin with, the quiet mind is paramount. And it may then be less important later. It's the same with your meditation. To begin with, the thoughts are a problem and you must seek to go beyond the thought. And as you get more experience, you are not bothered by thoughts at all. They can ramble away. And you can still make your link into the blissful self. Your blissful self is here regardless of your thoughts. But the journey to find that self and then onwards to the universal self, is the whole point of meditation. So there is an error at times that people make. And they battle the thoughts, and some with success, many without. But in battling the thoughts, they give energy to their thoughts. And of course, meditation then becomes more of a struggle. But let me give you a path that you can take. A well-worn path that will bypass what you have. Let us say you're sitting in meditation and you have a particular thought that comes up into your mind. Often it is one after another. As this thought arises, see if you can see where it comes from. So this is not following the thought along its trail, but following the thought backwards. Where did that come from? Not in a plan of finding the rationale or the psychological issue that built that thought, but where is its origin? Is it within the brain, within the mind, within the spirit? Where is it come from? So you're looking for a location almost. And as you delve deeper into the origin of the bubble, find who is the originator of that bubble, the bubble of thought. With practice, with time, with perseverance and some skill, the individual self merges with the universal self, and the realization that there was no individual. But that will take you time and some clarity. You may pass through the blissful state. You may pass through the state of all-knowing. You may pass through the state of emptiness. And I am. Keep looking for the source and the thinker. So in a moment, after our healing list, I will return to the proposition from last week. And that was the diamond and the charcoal. And I know, or I believe, that there were those amongst you that practiced their diamond day. Today is the day I will be clear like a diamond. And I wish to see what effects that this had. Briefly, hopefully for the whole day. And perhaps we can have a few share that. So let us go to the healing list. I believe you have some names for me, Brandon.
Yes, we do. Guy and Helen Bevilacqua, Charlotte Burge and Aura, Paya, Sonia, Ayla, Stella, Angelina, Andrea, Irene, Sophie, Michael, George, Cassandra, Shane Thorne, Loretta Caputo, Raylene and Neil Parsons, Joshua, Megan, Lucky, Sammy and Wesley French, Luke, Carla, Jennifer and Oshi Doherty, Orlando, Sienna and Shay Renshaw, and Carrie Balding. Thank you.
So the diamond and the charcoal receive the same amount of light. Yet the light passes through the diamond and it holds on to nothing. It is the holding on that causes the diamond to have impurities, to have thoughts or actions which, well, let us say they would like to have changed. And the more the diamond holds on to issues, the darker the diamond will be. Let me give you a story in a way that will explain this in another style, another way. Now, there was a preacher, and the preacher stood on the corner preaching his gospel. But he was not very successful. Few would come, few would listen, and even fewer were interested or even acted upon his words. And one day after his preaching, he sat at a cafe. And a lady comes to clean his table. She first dusts the table and then takes a damp cloth and wipes the table. But the wiping of the damp cloth left dirty streaks on that table. And the preacher said, "Would you do that again?" Again, she wipes with the damp cloth, and still the streaks appear. And the preacher says, "You will need to wash that cloth." And the lady says, "It is the same with you. You need to cleanse yourself. of your wrongdoings before you become a preacher. Otherwise, you will be as successful as cleaning this people's hearts as I cleaning this table. So the preacher took the good advice and spent time cleaning himself of his wrongdoings. Now, of course, we're not saying that you have done wrongdoings, but rather you have attachments or issues or avoidances and desires that build within your mind and your heart that influence you on being a clear diamond. So, was there anyone that practiced the exercise of being a diamond for a day? Perhaps, Brandon, you can nominate who is to speak, if any.
Yep. Is there anyone that wishes to speak from yesterday's talk, last week's talk? It does not look like we have anyone today, my friend.
I'm happy to say that
Oh.
the day that I did the exercise of practicing being like the diamond, it created a sense of peace and a sense of joy that I don't necessarily always have. So thank you.
Okay, that was Yvonne.
By having a sense of peace and joy, they come to you because that is what you required at that time. The peace comes from one side of the diamond, flows through and out of the other side of the diamond. The peace then will disturb, influence, and even at times help to remove any impurities that are within you. Because how can you have peace and agitation at the same time? So the peace can flow through like a river running down a stream that cleans away the mud. Can flow through you, giving you a feeling of peace, but also passing that peace on to those that are in need around you. Now, I say around you because it is an invisible gift that you give as you walk or sit or take part in society to those which are unknown to you. If you ever sit in the presence of a monk or an enlightened person or someone that can sit in their peace, very soon you also pick up on that peace. So the gift of being a diamond has many benefits. It brings peace into the world and brings peace into the being. So logic would say to you If it brings peace into the being, then it must come from a deeper or another source. And I just allow it through or do not allow it through. It's rather like the thought bubble. You could follow the peace back and to see where it comes from. Of course, we could say the same for joy. Follow the joy. So the process is very much like meditation. You can follow the impurity, or you can follow the purity. So what you did, of course, sounds very simple, but very evidential. But what you did was to allow some source, some absolute, some divinity, some spirit, some deity to work into the life of yourself and others. There are many who say being spiritual is doing certain activities. I am spiritual because I meditate every day. I am spiritual because I pray morning, noon, and night. I am spiritual because I sit in a cave. But the word spiritual means pertaining to spirit. So the way to have the qualities of spirit, to be truly spiritual, is to allow spirit into your day. And let spirit do the work of deciding what you need or what society needs that will come into contact with you. Here was peace and joy. Of course, it could be other things. So it is not what you do that makes you spiritual. There are activities which would help to point you in the direction, to open you up. But what makes you spiritual is how much you let spirit into your life. And spirit can cleanse you by moving you past the imperfections. The preacher in the story, he knew his words, but they were not said purely. It is when you talk and you talk with your mind, it's very different when you talk with your heart. And it's different again when you talk with something deeper. there'll be few people here who would not agree when I say you would like more love in your life. I give you the path to more love in your life. The well-worn path that is easy to follow. And you may follow that to its end course. At times, the connection between one side and the other side of this diamond, with the diamond in the middle, at times that can be rather intense. And the flow of energy could almost be visible. At times, the effects of that energy is visible. Why would this be so? Within the course of that diamond, there is firstly an intention to make a connection that is known and true. And second, to clean away the impurities that can exist. I say this to answer a question of one of you. That it's in your mind, but not in your mouth. A byproduct of this intense flow can be a change in life circumstance. Not that they will move from one city to another, but rather allow the full connection of spirit to come through them again. You do not remove a dam wall with a feather. Sometimes it takes something a little stronger. But another byproduct is the universal light that will show. Let your being be full of love. And let's clean away the insecurities and doubts. I trust you know who you are. Before I move on, is there anyone else that would like to share the results of their diamond day? Well, the diamond day, or even a diamond brief period of time, of minutes or hours, is the path you are looking for. It is the path to allowing life. By being the diamond, you have no desires, you have no attachments, you have no expectations or seek to avoid. You allow life to flow through you for just that period of time. Trust the light to do the cleansing. Allow it by having an open heart, and until the path is well worn, a clear mind. It may come as words, it may come as thoughts, it may come as actions. Moving slightly on. When you become this spiritual diamond, again, just for a few minutes if necessary, or the day if you can, you do not seek the result. You do not seek, well, I will make the whole world peaceful. You do not seek the wise words, the intensity of the results of the energy. You do not seek to try to hold that feeling of peace or joy or bliss. The holding on will cause the impurities to develop. And if you look at the result and you see, look at these beautiful faces that I have made. Look at this healing I have given. If you seek that result, then you'll be like the preacher. You must go backwards into where does this come from, rather than how does this manifest. Give it and let it be done. I hope that that is clear because it is important. Let the energy flow through you and be used in whichever way the energy wishes to be used, and do not seek glory in the results. Seek, where did this come from, rather than where did this go to. And then, it is thy way, not my way. Seek first the kingdom of heaven. This story, or today's talk, can be summed up in the phrase, the Lord helps those who help themselves. By opening up, then the Lord steps towards you. Now, you can use the word Lord as spirit, or love, or God, or Krishna, whichever way that you would like. Let me give you another story. During meditation, Radu used to meditate on Krishna. And Krishna used to meditate on Radu. And during the meditations got deeper and deeper, until one day Krishna became Radu and Radu became Krishna. You see, it's the same for you. Concentrate on the source, and you and the source become one. You allow spirit into your life. Trust your path, but follow it backwards. Do not look forwards. Let that be taken care of by itself. And you and source and spirit, your higher self or the universal self, blend into the being of oneness. And you can truly let spirit do the work. Attached to nothing that is delivered through you. It does not belong to you. So during the course of these talks, we've looked at many ways. If you remember, to begin with, we looked at you do have a still mind in between the thoughts. We looked at the oranges within the void. When we take away the oranges, there is just a void. We've now gone into what is the source of that void. It is not empty. So I ask you once more, be a diamond for a day. And let spirit bring purity into your being. God bless you all. I will see you all next week.